The Golden Compass by Philip Pullman.
When I look at the Golden Compass cover, I immediately think, why is there a girl on a polar bear with a mouse? It seems so weird to see a human being sitting on top of a polar bear. This picture also tells me that it probably takes place somewhere that is very cold because of the way that the girl is dressed. From the picture, I could tell that it is a fantasy because you'll never see a human being riding a polar bear in the Arctic. The title on the cover is very appealing. It's very shiny, which catches my eye, and when I feel it, it feels very smooth. Lyra and her daemon move through the darkening hall, taking care to keep to one side, out of sight of the kitchen. When I read this sentence, I immediately think, where are they? There's a lot of descriptive language such as the darkening hall, but I still can't guess where they are. It also makes me think that Lyra and her daemon are sneaking around, because it says that they took care to keep to one side and avoid
Kitchen. If someone is avoiding the sight of someone else, then it probably means that they should not be where they are. Crouching behind the high table, Lyra darted along and through the door into the retiring room, where she stood up and looked around. The only light in here came from the fireplace, where a bright blaze of logs settled slightly as she looked, sending a fountain of sparks into the chimney. She had lived most of her life in the college, but had never seen the retiring room before. Only scholars and their guests were allowed in here, and never females. Even the maidservants didn't clean in here. That was the butler's job alone. When I read this paragraph, Lara seems very timid because she's running around this room and seems kind of nervous. She's always looking around, almost expecting someone to find her. I also imagine a large room with leather chairs and a large fireplace in the middle. The fireplace makes me think about a log cabin with a smokestack, almost like one of those old-time cartoons where a man is smoking a pipe in a leather chair and a lady is knitting in another. It feels very cozy and comforting. It almost seems like a house that you would see in the woods. This place also seems very segregated because the women seem to be less important than the men. The men have a room where only they can go in, while all other women cannot. Even the maidservants. When I read the first chapter of The Golden Compass, I can tell a lot about the characters' personalities. As I read about Lyra sneaking through the kitchen into the retiring room, I could tell that she was very sneaky and cautious because she took care to stay out of sight of the kitchen, and she was quiet but at the same time very fast. I could also tell that Pandemonium, Lyra's daemon, was very scared and disapproving. For example, he kept nagging Lyra not to go into the retiring room because of the trouble she'd get into. In the passage, it said that he was looking around a lot, looking to see if anyone had seen them walk into the retiring room. Lyra's uncle, Lord Azrael, seemed very smart and forgiving in the first chapter. When he found out that Lyra was hiding inside the retiring room, he did not beat her or yell at her. He just scolded her, then let her go back into the wardrobe. He showed that he was smart when he made it seem as if it was the porter who had spilled the poison tokay, when it was actually him who spilled it. When I finished the chapter, I wondered, what is Lord Azrael going to show the scholars that was so important? Hopefully, my question will be answered as I continue reading. All in all, this book really sparked my inner voice conversation and helped me imagine what was happening inside the book. Hopefully, other books will do the exact same thing as this book.